Muckwub, if that was his real name, was a piece of work. The local sun was beating down, creating a glare on all the white stone. Darcy dialed down the contrast on her screen, took a calming breath, did her best to hide her revulsion, and looked around as she approached the advertised location. Her blood rushed out of control as she scanned every single face in the milling crowd. Immediate and utter disappointment. Adam wasn't there. She closed her eyes and gave herself a little pep talk. He could still be there, hidden away, the best stock, kept for the best buyers. And even if he wasn't, she still had work to do. Good could still come of this. She stood at the foot of the remains of an immense building that must have been magnificent in the distant past. Tall columns, ornately decorated in a blocky geometric art style, soared upward at least 3 stories, the white stones standing in stark relief against the turquoise sky. Nothing else competed with them for her attention, just 10 immense pillars to nowhere, because they didn't hold anything up anymore. The rest of the structure had crumbled long before. Aside from the low-walled footprint, all that remained among the rubble were the columns and the steep steps that ended in a cliff where the huge building used to be. There'd been a war or a natural disaster, and things had never been put right. The entire area had been abandoned for someplace better, leaving it open for the less fortunate to scrape out an existence within its meager shelter. A group of people gathered at the bottom of the steps, finally. The sale was beginning. She moved forward, jockeying rudely for a better spot in the crowd, closer to Muckwub, the better to command his attention when the time came. She had to play it just right. The trappings of the sale were galactic space age, but for all intents and purposes, Darcy might as well have time-traveled to the antebellum South. Muckwub practically created a laser light show to highlight his wares. As he talked about their attributes, his voice boomed through the slum, amplified to catch people's attention. There were people for sale at the top of the steps. She'd done this before, many, many times, but it never ceased to create an ache inside her. Conflicting emotions warred for control, anger mostly, but also sadness and hopelessness. As she stood there in this single, inconsequential spot, how many others endured this humiliation on countless worlds across the galaxy? She knew the consequences, the suffering that would still be there, even generations after freedom had been found. Every now and then she saw his merchandise grimace in pain. He must have implants on them, commonly called governors in the trade. The horrible devices worked only too well. Darcy's stomach churned. Inside her massive encounter suit, she chafed. She couldn't take him down here, because this place was too heavily populated with innocent people. She wouldn't risk their lives. Looking around, though, she hated the fact that no one raised an eyebrow. One might think the locals were complicit, except for the fact that they looked as downtrodden as the slaves for sale. This was a depressed area. The hallmarks of poverty were everywhere she looked. These people had endured too much hardship, and they couldn't be bothered to care about the unfortunates up on the block. But she cared, and she was damn well going to do something about it. After she found out if he had Adam, or had ever seen Adam, or any other human. Every time she came to a public sale like this, or was invited to a private showing, which was much harder to finagle, she got her hopes up. Maybe this time she'd find Adam up there. But her hopes were dashed every time.